Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Kim and you are watching Kim and Minsa's page on book review. Today I'll be reviewing Mandela's Way 15 Lessons on Life, Love and Courage by Rachel Stengel. Again, part 2. If you haven't seen the first one, the link will be below, so make sure to watch that one first. That has lessons 1 through 5. Today we'll be covering lessons 6 through 10. As I said before, and I'm going to say it again, let me know how these lessons 6 to 10, apply to your life and if they help you, and how they help you. Lesson 6. Have a core principle. Everything else is tactics. So the points I have for this lesson is, when conditions change, you must change your strategy and your mind. That's not indecisiveness. That's pragmatism. Let's look at what Mandela says. Mandela has been called a prophet, a saint, a hero. What he is not is a naive idealist. He is an idealistic pragmatist, even a high-minded one. But at the end of the day, he is about getting things done. Over and over during the course of our time together, Mandela made a distinction between principles and tactics, or principles and strategy. He used the words tactics and strategy interchangeably. If you have a dream, a goal, or a desire, you should go for it. I mean, you shouldn't charge through. You should have a plan, some kind of a plan, to go for that thing, whatever it is you want. Basically, Mandela is saying, have a tactics, have a strategy on how to get it done. When you want to achieve something that's so close to you, make sure to be real to yourself. How to get it, what to do. Be idealistic, but also be real to yourself. I think that's what he's trying to say, in my opinion. Lesson 7. See the good in others. Seeing the good in other people will improve the chances that they will reveal their better selves. Don't say bad things about anyone or anything. No one is purely good or evil. Don't talk about things you haven't seen or you will get in serious trouble. Try to understand your enemy and your friend. So something that I'm going to be reading, it's a bit long actually, but it is a lesson that everyone should learn. Some call it a blind spot, others naivete. But Mandela sees almost everyone as virtuous until proven otherwise. He starts with an assumption that you are dealing with him in good faith. He believes that just as pretending to be brave can lead to acts of real bravery, seeing the good in other people improves the chances that they will reveal their better selves. It is extraordinary that a man who was ill-treated for most of his life can see so much good in others. In fact, it was sometimes frustrating to talk with him because he almost never had a bad word to say about anyone. He would not even say a disapproving word about the man who tried to have him hanged. I once asked him about John Vorster, the Nazi-sympathizing president of South Africa who tightened apartheid and rued the fact that Mandela and his comrades had not been executed. He was a very decent chap, Mandela said with complete sincerity. In the first place, he was very polite. In referring to us, he used courteous terminology. That might seem like praising Saddam Hussein because he was kind to animals, but it is not that Mandela does not see the dark side of someone like John Vorster. It is that he is unwilling to see only that. He knows that no one is purely good or purely evil. We were talking one day about a prisoner who had been a rival of Mandela's on Robben Island and who had actually put together a list of grievances about Mandela. When I asked him about the fellow, Mandela did not address the man's hostility but said, what I took from him was his ability to work hard. In my opinion, This is a very difficult lesson. This also includes me. This is a very difficult lesson for me to practice. I think there are many times, and many people do this, where they talk about negative traits first about someone, and then comes the positive traits. At least sometimes I do that, I admit. But like Mandela, I should mostly focus on the positive traits. So I guess the takeaway here is to think positively and never, or at least less negatively. Alright, lesson 8. Know your enemy. And the points I have here is go straight to their hearts, not to the brain. Do not humiliate them. Be merciful. He began to learn about warfare, reading Sun Tzu's The Art of War and any kind of military manual he could get his hands on. He also began studying manuals of a different kind, handbooks of Afrikaans grammar. His comrades could understand his studying the art of war, but not the art of Afrikaans poetry. They used to tease him about learning the language of the oppressor, but Mandela knew he could not defeat his enemy if he did not understand him, and that he could not understand him if he did not speak his language. Literally. What's this here? He explains, when you speak Afrikaans, you go straight to their hearts. It was an echo of something else he had famously said about the art of persuasion. Don't address their brains, address their hearts. This is true in many arenas of our lives. Whether we are trying to persuade a colleague to see our point of view, win someone's vote, or attract new customers. If you want to make the sale, address the heart. Just to add more examples, whether it's your boss, your mother-in-law, father-in-law, know them well and play it safe. If you do that, I'm sure everything will go well. But if you do play safe, Mandela strongly suggests do not gloat. When you have won over your enemy, Mandela said, never gloat. The time of your greatest triumph is the time when you should be most merciful. Do not humiliate them under any circumstance. Let them, in fact, save face. And then you will have made your enemy your friend. I guess it's better to have a friend than an enemy, right? Lesson 9. Keep your rivals close. There's a saying where you need to keep your friends close but your enemies closer. In this lesson, Mandela talks more about his rivals and keeping them closer than the enemies. So the points I have for this chapter or lesson is trust your friends and enemies, but look out for rivals. See? He did it discreetly. He would not have considered using intelligence services or private eyes to spy on his rivals. He knew that the best way to do that was not from a distance, but from up close. In fact, when they were in a room together, he would often motion for a rival to come over and sit next to him. All the better to keep an eye on them. Mandela would say we need to do a better job of expecting the expected, that we often do not prepare for those things we know are likely to be coming. For him, one of those things was a rival who would challenge you. If you know someone who's trying to get that job position, then keep an eye on him or her and see what you can learn and maybe adopt from that. Maybe she or he knows Spanish. Maybe that's a requirement to get that new job position. Whatever it is, it has to be important for the job, right? So then learn from it. Learn Spanish. Be the best rival you can become. If you truly want that position, get it. Do what you need to do. Finally, the last lesson, guys, for today. Lesson 10. Know when to say no. I like that chapter. So the last points that I have for this lesson are no maybes. No is a complete sentence. It is better to disappoint someone early. You will avoid a heap of trouble in the long run. Nelson Mandela is not a man of maybes. He may be silent, he may be evasive. He will sometimes delay and postpone and try to avoid you. But in the end, he will not tell you what you want to hear just because you want to hear it. Even though he has an almost preternatural instinct to please. Even though he hates to disappoint people, Nelson Mandela is very adept at saying no. There are times that he will say, "Let me think about it." But when he knows the answer is no, he says no. This is not as easy or simple as it seems. We forget that no is a complete sentence. No is a very powerful word. A person has his or her limit. When someone asks you for help, when someone asks you to do something for them or for the company or whoever, you or they have to realize that you're just a one human being. You have your own goals, you have your own desires, limits, capacity. Eventually, you have to say no. The word no is to give you that breather, that space. It's a word to help you. And it's always there when you need it. Alright guys, that's the end of the lessons for today. We still have 5 more lessons to go. Until then, please leave some comments below. Let me know what you think about these lessons. Don't forget to check out the first video on the first 5 lessons. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.